Boker Tov, good morning. We continue with our 3-minute daily dose of Torah. Question for you: are you allowed to use your menorah to do other things with, to use its light for other purposes? You know the answer. We say no. We say no. That's why we end up having a shamash placed with the menorah to avoid that. It's actually phrased in this way: Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Asi Amar Rav Asur lahartzot ma'ot keneged ner Chanukah. He taught, ultimately quoted back to the name of Rav, it is forbidden to count money. What an interesting choice of example of something you might do by candlelight. You can't count money by using the ner Chanukah. So Shmuel heard this. This was quoted in front of Shmuel, and he thought this was wrong. V'chiner kedusha yesh ba? Do the candles have kedusha, sanctity to them? If they were sacred candles, if it was the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash, I get it, he would seem to imply. If it was somehow otherwise defined as kodesh, hekdesh, that would be the rule. You can't benefit from it. But they're not, which is so interesting. Because we say, Hanerot halalu, kodesh heim. It sounds like that song is written presuming that they are holy and that's why you can't use them. But interestingly, the Gemara does not reject Shmuel's assertion. No, the candles aren't holy. But rather, the Gemara continues, Rav Yosef pushes back and says this is a separate principle. And that is that mitzvot should not be bizuyot alecha. They should not be something that are diminished and disgraced, that you should use them for your own separate purposes, when they're there for the purpose of the mitzvah. So, for example, you have decorations in your sukkah. You're not permitted to take the sukkah decorations in the middle of Sukkot and use them and manipulate them and use them some other way, even if they're food, right? You have apples hanging from the sukkah as decoration. If you put them up as decoration, you're not permitted to eat them. Why? That mitzvot shouldn't be something that ultimately you don't treat with dignity and respect. And the source of this, they actually say, is the mitzvah of kisui hadam. When an animal is slaughtered, the Torah has an obligation to cover the blood of the slaughtered animal, and the Gemara says you're not permitted to sort of kick dirt. That's how they interpret the pasuk. You're not permitted to kick the sawdust on top of it. You have to use your own hand, the same hand that you would use to slaughter, to cover the blood that's there, and that's because how can a mitzvah be something you perform by something like that, kind of just kicking it? And so from there, we learn that in general, one must treat mitzvot with dignity and respect, and that's the reason. Whether or not we sing it in Haneros Halal, that's the reason why we're not to use our Chanukah licht for any purpose other than to have them there to remind us of the mitzvah. The shamash will be there, the room lights will be there for our reading purposes, so that mitzvah be something that we always honor at every time we perform. Have a great day.